All right, in this first video, I want to show you the first 4 problems from the check that we did. I'm going to walk you through how I would solve this problem. So in this situation, it says to write 14 times 14 times 14 times 14 times 14 times 14 as a power. And so if you think back to our notes, if you look back in your notes, we talked about a power being the exponent. So power equals an exponent number. So a number with an exponent. Okay, so an exponent number with an exponent would be like 7 to the second or 6 to the third power. Okay, so we would refer to these as powers. This is another way to refer to it. So I would count the number of factors there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 14s. 14 is our base number, and it's being used as a factor 6 times. So the power would be 14 to the 6th. Okay, so to get some extra practice, if you'd like to practice this, if you still need to get a little bit of understanding, down here, page 3, exploration number 1, and also you could go to page 6, problems 2 through 3, and this would be found in your student journal. All right, let's move on to the next problem. The next problem is find the value of 3 to the third. So now this time we're looking for the value. That means to work it out. We want to see what this is worth. So how would I work this out? I would write 3 to the third power as an expression. So 3 to the third means the base number 3 is going to be used as a factor 3 times. The exponent, the little 3, tells me how many times I need to write 3. So I'm going to write this out this way. And I'm going to think 3 times 3, and that equals 9. And then I bring that down to multiply 3 times 9, and I get 27. So 3 to the third power is 27. Again, common mistake is people add this up, and it should be multiplying. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then 9 times 3 is 27. If you want extra practice on this type of problem, you can go to page 3, exploration 1. It's a chart to work out, or page 6, 5 through 7. Again, this is in your student journal. You can get some extra practice. Problem number 3, determine whether 39 is a perfect square, yes or no. Okay, so determining if something is a perfect square, you think about a square. Okay, now a square, one of the properties of a square is that all the sides are the same. All sides are the same. So whatever we say it is on one side, that means all of them are there. So if this was a square, 4 being one of the side lengths, it would be 4. So basically all of it around would be 4. So when we're trying to find the area of something, we find the area is length, or we'll do base times height. The area being base times height. Well, in this case, since all of them are the same, it's going to be 4 times 4, and that's going to equal the area. Okay, now for something to be a perfect square, that means both sides are the same, so it's always a square. Okay, so another way that we could show this as an area would be the perfect square number of 16 would be the area for this. Let me back up a little bit. If we figured this out, the area would be 16. Another way to show this would be 4 to the second power, or 4 square. So is 39 a perfect square? How can you figure that out? Well, you can guess and check or move up. So I'm going to sit there and say, I know 4 to the second power is 16. So I'm going to go 5 to the second power equals 25, because 5 times 5. 6 to the second power equals 36. 6 times 6. Okay, so this is 5 times 5. This is 6 times 6. And then the next number, 7 square, which would be 7 times 7, is 49. So 39 fits somewhere in between here. So 39 cannot be a perfect square because 6 squared, or 6 to the second power, and then 7 to the second power, or those are the outcomes. So 39 is in between there, so it is not a perfect square. All right, so you can kind of guess and check as long as you understand. Again, when you're thinking of perfect square, think of finding the area and the base, and you're using the same number. So if you want some extra practice with this, you can go to page 6 of your student journal, problems 9 through 12. Okay, and the last one I want to do for this video is evaluate expressions. Okay, so for this problem right here, it is 18 minus 2 times 10 plus 8 divided by 6 to the second power. Now, one thing we talked about in class is this 2 by the parentheses may be a little confusing because we're not used to seeing that. That means multiplication. So if you want to rewrite this problem, it can also look like this: 18 minus 2 times 10 plus 8 divided by 6 to the second power. All right, so now if you need to remember anything, it's PEMDAS. So I'm going to just write it over here as a reference. And again, I'm going to write it this way. So first thing I always do is anything in parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to find the parentheses here, 8 plus 10, or 10 plus 8, and that equals 18. Now, a big mistake a lot of people are making is they do too much in their head and not writing things down. So I'm going to work this problem out, and then I'm going to bring everything else down. Okay. So now I have 18 minus 2 times 18 divided by 6 to the second power. I have no more parentheses, so I'm done with that. Now I move on to exponents. I do have one exponent right here, so I need to work that out. 6 to the second power is 6 times 6, and that equals 36. So I'm going to figure that out, bring everything else down. So no more exponents, I can cross that out. Now I move on to multiplying and dividing. Now remember, I don't have to multiply first. I don't have to multiply, I don't divide first necessarily. It's what's from left to right. So I'm always moving across left to right. So I have to start over here, and I look for my first either multiplication or division problem. So if I look across, I see I have a subtraction, multiplication, and division. My multiplying is first right here. It's between these two numbers, 2 and 18. So 2 times 18 is 36. So that's the problem I have to do. I'm going to bring this down. Then, one step at a time, bring everything down. I'm simplifying this number, evaluating it. So now I'm left with 18 minus 36 divided by 36. Well, I still have a division problem here, so I got to take care of that next. So 36 divided by 36 is 1. And then I bring everything else down. Then I'm left with 18 minus 1. Okay, so the only thing left is any adding and subtracting. It's a subtraction problem. So when I work that out, 18 minus 1, I get 17. So my final answer is 17 when I evaluate it. Yes, it does take a little time, but look at all the steps. I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to get to my answer, and I showed every step of it, and I kept it organized. That's important to do when you're working out these types of problems. If you would like to get some extra practice, a good place to go would be your student journal again, page 10. Problems 1 through 4 will give you some problems that you can work on like this. All right?